Hello, everybody. I'm Barry B, a bearcat stranded in space, and in today's episode of Lost in Transmission, it's a little bit more of a casual episode. Today, joining me is, of course, our usual guest commentator slash whatever, the slime detective, Timo and I.
Hello, that is me. My name is Timo and I, or Timo for short. I am your slime detective, penguin enjoyer, and M&M eater. Thank you for having me.
Wait, how are you enjoying those penguins? In what way?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Should I be afraid?
It's a mystery that you should solve on your own.
Well, what isn't a mystery right now is more details are coming out for Persona 3 Reloaded.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're getting separate chapters for one of the plot characters. These would be essentially the bad guys named Strega.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it's another antagonistic group that you have to fight in Persona 3, because I remember playing in the old one, they pop up. Because Reloaded is, again, a remake, right? So they're doing their own stuff. I also don't know what context they're changing the story with them.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking at an article, and I'll link it into the description, but I don't feel like reading.
Neither do I. Don't worry. If it's not compressed into video, I usually don't read too much. I apologize.
And that's why I'm going to link the article for all you guys in there. But
thank the Lord.
A lot of the, what it looks like from also the update video they do have, there's just going to be a lot more stuff that they flesh out that we just didn't see in the game. Also because, like, PS2 limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I closed my dock. Goddamn. So
no.
But, it's not that bad. But anyways, this is going to be unstructured today because I'm just, like, half asleep and all over the place today. But
all right.
Speaking of all over the place, how have you been, Timo? Tell us what you've been up to.
I've been great. I've been working on a bunch of stuff. Unfortunately, I have not worked too much on coming back to streaming. That is very much still a work in progress.
Yeah, your fans are waiting.
Yeah, my 3 fans, my crowd. I've got art done. I got some art done. That's about it. But the timing hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
In my favor, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know when, but it's a journey.
I'm kind of in the same way with my art right now. Just waiting on my artist to contact me.
Oh gosh.
But right now she's kind of feeling sick right now, so it's I can understand. So
I saw, yeah. I hope they feel better.
I do too. Less for like I want my art now, more just like I just hope they feel better.
Yeah, they're a great person. I just hope they feel better. They're fantastic.
I feel sorry for a friend of mine, a different friend of mine. She was trying to get her character redone, but and we were shopping for artists together, or I was helping her out, and we thought we found a good one. I'm not gonna say who it was because I'll just say as I found them on Fiverr.
Oh,
they were rated.
Has a bunch of beautiful artists,
but the thing is, there's also a lot of bots too.
Oh,
because you don't know how many how many bot accounts of artists there are. Because I literally saw two of them there, where it's like, wait, these are exactly the same. Hold on, what's going on here?
Really?
Yeah, or more.
Wow.
But one of the ones we went with, it's like they had a good rating, but some of the reviews did say they were. It took a while. There was a delay compared to what they originally had specified. The pricing was okay. It was just more that there was a lack of communication or lack of consistency with that.
Yeah.
Their art is great, but sadly, I was telling my friend, I think we just need to move to a different artist. We did get art, but and this is where, like, when it comes to commissioning artists, where it's like, I like, for example, like, I want to pay the artist what they, you know, what's agreed upon. And where do you go when it's like, well, the product wasn't up to par with what they said, or certain things got delayed and right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, how much do you actually pay? 'Cause, I mean, it's always good to pay up, not everything up front, but halvesies, right?
Yeah.
In this case, it's more like, you just pay for the work that has been done.
I agree.
Because again, sadly, it didn't come up to par. And I mean, the thing is, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person as far as I know, but certain things just didn't. They weren't communicating. Like they didn't communicate they were sick, or they would be there. What it sounded like to me, from according to my friend, was that the artist was getting overwhelmed by other stuff, and was just not doing a great job of time management, which again is understandable.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
but the thing is, it's like it's not communicated well, and then especially when the messages are very clear of like, oh, I'll get this done.
Yeah.
And then they said, are you gonna get this done by this time? Yeah. And then it shows up 2 days later or longer. Even though they clearly said, oh, I'll have it done by fill in the blank. Right?
I understand, yeah.
I mean, and that's where it's hard for me, because it's like, I don't want to, especially for me or my friends, it's like, don't want to be that customer that artists complain about, because it's like, I feel bad, but it's like, what happens if I do end up working with someone that's actually shitty?
Oh God, I understand. Yeah. I think with most artists that I have worked with or have like sought out, I think it's mostly been word of mouth, because it makes it a lot easier. If it's someone that's already trusted between people, it makes it easier on you. And like some people, they're very intimate with their art, and they would like to do their best job, so they always speak a lot with their customers.
Yeah.
They always try to understand what they want out of it, and they'll give you time schedule. I think those are one of my favorite artists.
I feel like
most that I've worked have been that way.
Yeah, I feel like that is the ideal, which is I mean, that's exactly what networking is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
In a professional sense or whatever. But sometimes you just want to get things done. And again, I get it. It sometimes is scary when you look at a price tag and you go, oh my God. But also, it's one of those things where it's like, where do I start when I look? Because, one of the great places to actually check out when you look up artists to commission is VGen. But there's also other.
VGen's really nice.
But there's a whole bunch of other places, like I said, Fiverr, Skeb, and whatever. But Skeb is more for like illustrations, if anything. You can get VTuber stuff off of there, but it's also more for illustrations. But again, those are also sites where it's 50-50. Most of it's Fiverr, because it is more or less you get what you technically pay for. I mean, that might sound good, but it also means that if you cheap out, you cheap out. But also there are people there that are definitely trying to scam you. Now, granted, I'm not trying to throw people who do use Fiverr under the bus of going, oh, it's a bad place. No, it's not. It's just it's a lot more of a wild west.
That is true. It's a very middle ground, to be fair with you. I've had thankfully I've had really good reception doing stuff and like getting anything done off Fiverr. I got my original PNG and I have my chibi done off of artists on Fiverr. Like it's mostly research and then like trying to speak with the person beforehand before even like ordering anything. I think that's probably a big thing. But I have seen Skeb. I really want to. Some of the artists on Skeb I really like, and I want stuff done by them. I do not understand how to use it, to be fair with you.
It's funny because I did look up Skeb, and there's a link there for a for an English guide, because it's the thing is, Skeb is a Japanese owned company, and is a Japanese owned website. So for the most part, it is in Japanese. Now there is an English friendly guide. I don't know if there's like an English website of it, because I've never used it. So
there's YouTube videos on how to order from.
Oh my god! I mean, it's that, or do the task of trying to search hashtags on Twitter, which I have done, and I found some artists there that I've considered, because some of them are good. Because the thing is, not only do I look at their links, the key thing, especially with artists, when you're actually trying to do actual commission work with either your avatar or whatever, is checking if they actually have a portfolio.
That is true.
And the thing is, that is helpful for everybody. In terms of you commissioning art from somebody, what you need, I would recommend, because it really helps, especially when I talk to some of my artist friends. It helps if you have not a portfolio, but like you have examples of what you want to get from something, or what you want commissioned for.
Reference.
Yeah, references. Always have references, and they'd rather have a shit ton, even though that might be a pain in the ass to surf through. But they rather would have that than absolutely nothing. Because I think the
Options
worst,
are good.
because the worst thing, and I've experienced that with some friends who've asked me to draw something for them here
Mhm.
and there. I'm not the best artist, but whenever someone tries to describe something very abstract, even though they're trying to be very simple,
Mhm.
it's worse when they really just don't know how to describe something,
Yeah.
and you're stuck in a call, and it's like, but I want to do maybe this with this, or that thing that looks like this. You're like, oh my god, I don't know what
It's
that
very
is.
obscure and it's so hard to piece together what they
Yeah.
want, but I do get it. Yeah, reference is good. I'd rather have more than none.
Yeah, no references is horrifying.
Absolutely.
And then same thing with artists. It's I'd say just like, because it's still at the end of the day a business. It's good to have a
Yeah.
portfolio because your customers will be able to see your body of work, your quality of work.
Mhm.
Side benefit is if you have like a YouTube channel or whatever, or your streams itself.
That is true, yeah.
The reason I would recommend YouTube is because YouTube, it archives your streams. And so when you stream there or you just record there, you do have a record you can also point to of this is how my work process is. You can see how almost exactly how I work when I do things. Granted, that's just a recommendation I would have for everybody. Not everybody's keen on doing that. And sometimes, like I said, a normal portfolio just works. Oh, it sounds like Todd Howard. It just works.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of it just works, something that worked, I guess, were the massive Xbox leaks.
Oh.
And I'm not surprised. This might have been done on purpose by Microsoft in some way.
You never know. It could just be some random engineers just like, hey guys.
Not
here's all
really,
these
because
little fancy things.
Not really, because you got to consider what was leaked from the emails, because these are emails. I'm looking at the article right now. It is emails from Phil Spencer and Microsoft personnel discussing a whole bunch of different things. One of them was at some point them considering having Microsoft purchase Nintendo.
Oh.
Which honestly I can't really see happening just because
I don't either.
um
Nintendo's just a powerhouse, to be fair with you.
True, it is a powerhouse, but also it is the solid third place. Because and also I know there were some comments I was reading where it's like, no, the thing is a cultural institution of this and that. Yes, but more so, the way they run things is very different to how Western businesses runs their stuff. Granted, they'll work with each other in some things, but it's gonna be a totally different environment.
It really is. The work culture is entirely different between Nintendo and what Xbox are. Fuck. You know what I mean. But
Yeah.
it's very different work cultures.
Also, because in some way, it's one of those things of like, but what would be in it for people who were working over at Nintendo or like people who were actually over there? I don't know. If anything, I think the better call is just to keep working with them to see, get more things cross-platform, if anything, because that's what I would like. The one that would make more sense, because apparently in that email, not only were they talking about maybe we'll purchase Nintendo. That's not gonna happen, no matter how much money.
I don't think it's a good idea,
unless something else happens. One I do see happening, even though these are just more like throwaway talking about stuff, emails, is purchasing Valve.
Valve?
Yeah, but caveat: I don't know how old these emails are, but I think, but these are like definitely like over the span of I don't know how long.
Years.
Most likely.
Even potentially, yeah.
But the reason why I say Valve can be possible.
That is very possible.
Yeah. I mean, weirder things have happened.
That is true. It is very true.
The only thing is, like, I really wouldn't know how they would implement that, and I would hope they don't structure it like Microsoft or games for Windows. That stuff is always horrible. Game Pass for PC is okay. I haven't used it too much. I had it for a little bit, but I never really utilized it.
Oh god, I got it once, on free trial, and I'm just like, oh, I don't really have any use for this, but it never let me cancel my subscription until
Oh,
just
Lord.
recently, and it has been months. I'm just like, God, I
I-
did not want this.
I mean, the only thing I did like about it was when there was something free, you could just get it, and
Mhm.
it was yours.
That is true, yeah. But like, I never owned an Xbox where I could utilize it more off of an Xbox than I did on PC. Because on PC, you have a bunch of free stuff that you can just play, or
Oh,
in
yeah.
general, most stuff's already platformed on PC. So I'm just like, it doesn't benefit me too much to keep Game Pass around.
Game Pass, especially for PC, is mostly just being able to go between the Xbox and your PC. Now, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean they don't run fine. It just depends on the game, because some of the games on there actually aren't that... not all of them. The only game I know that was like really crappily optimized, but that was just in general, was, I think, the horror game Medium
Oh,
by Blooper Studios. I forgot. That one was also just... It wasn't a flop. It was a meh game.
oh God, yeah.
It looked creepy. It definitely looked interesting because you had two different perspectives when you played at the same time. But
Mhm.
I don't know what happened with it. It kind of just dropped off.
Oh,
The Kotaku article also goes into how this one I'm excited for, and this is why I didn't buy Oblivion on sale,
oh,
because Bethesda might be working on remastering Oblivion. And
really?
and we're probably probably are still looking at the guys making Sky Oblivion right now, because I can tell you right now they're probably staring at all the fan devs and modders working on Sky Oblivion right now and going, okay, what stuff are we gonna steal from this? What can we
Hey
implement that
guys,
they
send me
do?
the files right now. I want.
I mean, technically, that did happen for some for a modder, but he didn't work with Bethesda. It was the guy who did the Lost City. Oh no, the Lost
Oh,
City, the Forgotten City.
yeah.
It was originally a Skyrim mod, and then he ended up just going, "I'll just make my own game of it,"
Oh,
and did it on a different engine, I think, and then was like, "There you go."
it would
Um,
be nice for them to work with some of the people that do modding or develop certain things for their
they
games.
they have, to a limited degree.
Mm-hmm.
They've worked with some of the I don't know if you know any of the modders, but some of the people
Mm-hmm.
they've worked with are like Fading Signal and Eleonora
Mm-hmm.
for, I think, Skyrim mods and Fallout mods. The thing was, and there's a
Oh.
whole bunch of other ones. But
Mm-hmm.
these were the controversial paid mods, though.
Oh.
And the thing with about like Creation Club, I know the whole drama with that one was people are thinking
Mm-hmm.
that they were going to get, essentially mod content that you pay for, but it was worth paying for. Essentially, the way that Bethesda, I remember, originally pitched it as, we'd be working with the community and making, basically like almost like DLC sized content, or
Mm-hmm.
expand type of like expansion stuff that, yeah, you could pay for, and people were fine with paying it for it,
Mm-hmm.
but also knew it's like, oh yeah, it's maybe from people from the community or whatever, right? But that's not what ended up happening, and it ended up just being more like a cash grab for stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, which
Here you
which
go. Here's
doesn't
DLC. Give me monies.
yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Remember, this is the same company that did horse armor that you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
Oh
they brought it
God.
back
Yeah.
even as a joke, but it was just like, Jesus, really? Um,
Why?
but we'll see. Oblivion Remastered might be good. Now, I don't know how good it will be if it is being worked on and when it
How good
releases.
will it hold up? Because I remember playing it when I was way younger. So I don't. I mean, it might be nostalgia. I'm just like, oh, it would be great to have it again. But it's just, how
Now,
good will it hold
my
up?
my thing with it is, because it's an older engine,
Hmm.
would it be? I think it'd be just better just to remake it.
Yeah, just
Um,
start from scratch. Don't try to just update fucking graphics at that
because
point.
yeah, no, because that thing is on an older. I don't know if I don't even remember if it was on the Creation engine or not. If it was a different engine before. I don't remember if it
I
was
think
still Gamebryo.
I don't remember. I nostalgia speaking. At the time, it looked like the highest and best, possible animations you can have, or whatever
I'll,
engine you
Here's
had
the
at the
thing.
time. It looked amazing.
I'll give it this. It still has a strange ass alien charm to it,
Yeah.
compared to Skyrim. Because as much
Hmm.
as Skyrim has all these things and it is ostensibly newer looking, there was something
Hmm.
about Oblivion's environment that, the best way I would describe it was like walking through a pastel painting.
Oh yeah,
That's how it
totally
felt. So even though you
Yeah.
knew the graphics looked like crap, there was still something about it that was still stylized enough that it's like it feels like I'm walking through this fantasy story. Granted, the faces, I looked at the behind the scenes of the original Oblivion of how the face
Yeah.
tech was worked. It's like, oh my god, they literally just pulled someone's face over a mannequin.
Yeah,
no wonder
just
their
stretch
faces.
it over.
No wonder their faces look like that. It's like, oh, hello, Jesus, hello there, Bayazura, Bayazura, Bayazura.
Oh,
It's
God,
you,
like
the grand
anime
champion.
zoomed in face.
Oh yeah, speaking of Bayazura, have you seen the adoring fan in Starfield?
I I was super excited about Starfield, but I have not like even tempted myself to buy it. It looks really cool, but I have no real like feedback to go off of for the game. I don't know
Okay,
if I want to buy it or not.
I will buy it eventually. It does
Yeah.
look like my type of game, but
Yeah.
I'm letting all the modders get used to it first.
Oh, that is a good point.
And also, I'm waiting for it to go on sale because right now, sadly, it is for $69.99. Nice,
Oof.
funny
Nice.
number. What I'll probably buy, even though I've been trying to stop myself from purchasing too much stuff, is Alan Wake 2 because the base version is $49.99.
Oh.
But I mean, they're going for a digital only release.
Oh yeah.
And if you're on PC, you can only get, as far as I know, you can only get it off of Epic.
Oh. There is certain things off of Epic that are really fun, but like I don't see many people or people even attempting to get some of the Epic only launcher stuff. To be fair with you, because they have a bunch of free stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, the only Epic games, things I have on the Epic launcher are Deathloop and Fall Guys.
Fall Guys is a really fun game,
which we should play one of these days again.
We should. Speaking of things we should play, Dark and Darker is really fun, but I'm so bad at it.
Okay, are you telling me to buy Dark and Darker right now?
I'm just saying, I don't know. I think personally it would be a little more fun if I had someone to play with that is a little more aware of their situations.
I mean, it is $35, the base one.
I know.
And then the other one is what was it? The 50 for the other edition. But the thing is, I was looking at like the founders with the differences, and it's like, you know what? I just will buy the base because apparently even the skeleton thing you can purchase in game from.
You can't, which is cool because it's not just held exclusively for that.
Yeah, and that was the thing I had to look up just to see if it's like because I wanna be Skeletor. Yeah.
Yeah, I will be honest. I think I bought the founders just to have founders because I think it will. I thought it was going to be a cool game, and I thought I'd really like it. I do enjoy it, but it's a little tough on me since I'm not used to these type of games. It is very fun.
You know what it reminds me?
Easier with friends.
From what I've seen, it reminds me of it's Fantasy Marauders.
Yeah, that's how it is.
But the only difference with Marauders is that God, Marauders scares the shit out of me actually because the few times I did go and try to play it. Granted, the player population on Marauders changes so much that I don't even know if anybody's actually playing sometimes, and it's still in beta as far as I remember. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm like fighting NPCs or fighting a player.
Oh God, yeah.
But
so like to explain Dark and Darker a little bit, it is like dungeon crawling. Oh, okay. So you know the game, God, Escape from Tarkov, how it is like you roll into a mission, you find stuff, you keep whatever you have if you survive, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the same concept in Darker and Darker, but you're dungeon crawling if you're by yourself, you get paired up with two other people, but you're all spread apart and you have to come in contact with each other to survive. But you're also set against another team of 3, and you're running through this dungeon as well. You're running around looking for loot, killing whatever you can, but it's not like just easy like NPC like enemies that you're fighting, a part of like fighting the other team and trying to stay alive because these NPCs are tough. I usually end up dying the first 2 minutes if I run into something because I just lack the power or the know-how to get through it. But it is incredibly fun. I've had one total escape in my 5 hours of playing this game.
And you think I know what I'm gonna be doing?
No, but it'd be more fun to hear two of us screaming than just me screaming at myself.
Granted, the thing that unlike Marauders, where you know where to go back to exit out.
Yeah.
That was the only thing with Dark and Darker that kind of seems pretty scary. But granted, that adds to the intensity of the game.
Yeah, and that's
of trying to find the way out, and only one person can use that one way out. You have to find another one, I think. I could be wrong. Okay, yeah.
No, you're right. You find a book and it teleports you out, but there's also like these other monuments that heal you and give you some boost running around. But you also find gear that helps your survivability shoot straight up. But it is a little tough trying to get around and navigating.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break because I need to run to the toilet.
Yeah, take your time.
All right, we will be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are back, and where we left off was talking about Dark and Darker. Well, I think I'll definitely be trying to play that. Oh, speaking of,
I think you should.
Speaking of playing things, so Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, I love Cyberpunk so much. I have not played the DLC yet, and I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not yet.
Well, because it's not out yet.
Oh, I thought it came out. No, it comes out soon. Actually, hold on.
It comes out Tuesday.
I thought it came out.
No, so
I have time.
What came out was the 2.0 update.
Yeah.
The one that restructures everything. So, I think I was telling you in DMs, but I had I had to double check on my performance because Cyberpunk did come out with new PC requirements.
It is beefy.
My computer still can run it.
Yeah.
Though I had to double check on like certain other things, such as my storage. So it turns out they have switched it to an SSD requirement.
Oh.
Which makes sense. Because an SSD is way faster. I have an SSD, but that's my C drive, and I've been trying to make sure not too much shit's on my C drive. So I recently purchased an NVMe. So I had an adventure trying to put that in, but also because apparently this shit doesn't come with the screws you need, and the pre-built PC I got did not come with the motherboard screws. Everything else was sit in there, but I didn't get the screws for the motherboard if I was going to attach more shit to it. So I had to buy those off Amazon, and at least I got them yesterday, but I was like afraid I was going to get them at night. So I've installed the NVMe. I moved Cyberpunk to that thing because originally I had it on my big beefy external hard drive. Are you alive? What happened? Timo? Uh-oh. Well, he seems to have dropped off the face of the earth for now, guys, but I'll keep going. But yeah, so I finally have an SSD. Oof. Live technical issues, folks. I do be sorry. Apparently Timo has dropped from the call because Discord died.
Discord decided to update.
There you go. This man didn't check for an update. This man, look at this.
Didn't have an option. It just decided to update out of nowhere.
I was telling this the entire thing about like me installing my SSD, and I'm like, Timo, hello. Oh, okay, he's done. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's okay. But I sent you a link to the new PC system requirements.
I'm staring at it right now, and I don't think my graphic card right here is 70.
Which one?
Okay, so it says you either require a 7900 for like the recommended, right? Yeah, I don't have that, or an RTX 4080. Don't have that either. But on the minimum, right? 6800 XT. Coincidentally, that is what I have.
So you have the minimum. You can still run it on the minimum, though.
Yeah, but I play on my PlayStation, though, so I'm all good.
Oh, okay. You play on PS5?
Yeah. We're chilling. Even though sometimes it does struggle for some reason, because it is a very, like, intense game. Your PC and PS4 turn into fucking toasters.
I mean, I remember doing that with my I mean, from my first run, I didn't finish it because I haven't come back, but I played it for a little bit, and my PC was warm. It was hot. It was going.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like I could cook stuff on it, but it was like, okay, this is, my PC is straight up in the middle.
Yeah.
Because let me double check my I want to just double check my thing. Because I did run it. So my processor is an AMD Ryzen 7 5700. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm still good on that. Yeah, I'm more than good. I can do ultra technically.
Yeah.
But let's see. As for, I don't remember for my VRAM because I know it's a what the hell are you? Okay, you are an RTX. You're an NVIDIA RTX 380 or 360.
A 3060. A 3060 is pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm in the middle of that. So that's why I was. Oh yeah. No, I'm fine technically.
Yeah.
I'm in the weird in between of recommended and ultra. Because I do remember when I first fired it up, it was giving me ultra settings.
Oh god, yeah. It usually tries to pick what fits the best.
Yeah, I mean, of course, of course, when I do fire it up again, I'm still going to tweak the graphics again. I heard they have better implemented DSSL. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But that's mostly for the graphics processing for NVIDIA. I might do ray tracing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But definitely, at least storage wise, I'm fine. VRAM, I think I'm fine. I think it's at least an 8. Normal RAM, I have, like I said, I have 16 gigs. So I'm like in a weird in between.
I'm at ultra or ray tracing minimum. Maybe almost recommended or ray tracing recommended.
Now, what I would like to see is when I do my new playthrough, because technically I could restart it, right now with the 2.
Might as well, just to get the full experience.
I mean, I was gonna do that anyways, but like, I want to wait for Phantom Liberty to come around so that way all of the stuff is fully implemented. Because there's other stuff.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Because the expansion adds in more stuff, right?
Yeah, you have more guns and mods to play with.
And the thing is, if I was going to restart anyways, I might as well wait for that on Tuesday. I don't know how long that's gonna download, but I have the
a couple nights.
I mean, technically, I have the DLC because I already technically pre-ordered it from the sale way back. I think it was earlier this summer because I bought Cyberpunk at a discount, and I was like, I might as well buy the discounted version that has the DLC. Like, why not? That has the expansion. So I did that. Speaking of the graphics cards,
I need to buy it soon. Yeah.
Even though I'm not looking at that article, so so for Starfield, people were complaining about technical issues with it, especially with the graphics processing and things like that. Well, a lot of stuff apparently was, and I'll see if I can link the videos I was watching about that. I got to remind myself. Let me write that down real quick. Link Starfield graphics vids. The funny thing with that one was, so Starfield is a Microsoft exclusive. It is for the Xbox Series X and PC. I mean, yes, it's on Steam, but in general, right? It's mostly
it's still PC. You can play it technically on your Steam Deck.
I mean, like it's still, but it's primarily pushed by Microsoft. So apparently, what I've heard is that it was built with AMD in mind.
Oh God, yeah.
So the AMD processor, it worked. So what people were finding out when they were doing some performance tests, if you have an AMD processor and an AMD graphics card,
which I coincidentally have.
So if you're mostly all AMD, it's gonna work fine. It's gonna work fine. It's gonna actually work even better because the thing is, it's using FSR or its refresh stuff or whatever for the graphics. Now, if you're using NVIDIA, it natively
God.
didn't have DLSS support. Now it does. There was an update, but originally people had to download a mod to fix that.
Oh God.
Because the performance would significantly drop.
It would be tanking. That's
So-
what people had issues with a couple games that released this previous year as well.
But also, granted, that was also because some of them were, and that's not their fault. It's mostly because the way they're constructing games a lot more now is for SSD storage, because SSD
Yeah.
storage is faster. But technically, some games you're still able to run on your normal hard drive, and they work fine. Oh boy, and we've seen with some streams, especially if you watched Gavis Battle or some of the other Hololive people who've tried to play it. If they didn't install it didn't install it on an SSD, it would. Oh boy, the load time is horrifying. And some of them who did it, you still had to play around with the settings. In traditional fashion, its UI is still horrible, just like Skyrim or whatever. So it's like, man. So that's why I'm waiting for more mods. There are quality of life mods. I know there'll always be better mods and even more fixes, both officially and from the mod community. And that's why I'm kind of waiting on it. But I found it funny though that a lot of people were complaining about it and going, "This is the worst game ever," whatever. But the background on that was, and I didn't know this because I'm new to PCs. So majority of people with PCs, right, their graphics cards or even their processors or both are NVIDIA. And
that's generally what people buy.
Yeah, and the thing is, the problem with that one was that, of course, let's say you're an AMD user, right? So now here are all these games that are mostly, what do you call it? Optimized, right? Well, they're optimized more for NVIDIA, and so sometimes, apparently, any of the AMD users, they were having not hard time, but sometimes some games just won't function well with
properly.
With an AMD. And what's funny about this is, even though the AMD, I don't know how big the AMD community is, but because the NVIDIA users are a much larger group, definitely a much larger and more common population, they're now feeling what those AMD users felt. Now there's like, I've been so inconvenienced.
Oh, how the turntables.
Yeah, and I thought that's kind of funny. Granted, I wish this shit was not an actual problem. These games should work no matter what your processor is, no matter what your graphics card is. They just need to have more, generalistic ways to tweak it and be able to have you do stuff. But we live in an era where Apple influenced everything, and that's called proprietary technology. I mean, it always has existed, but to the scale that it exists now, you really need to have this brand's thing. And that's the only thing that can go with it. There's no generalized or universal tools. Sometimes there are, but the thing is, it's much harder to do. Because I was complaining this to my dad when it came to the screws on my processor. So yes, I had to buy screws for it. I don't mind buying screws for it. But the thing was,
they should just send with the whole PC though.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm more annoyed that apparently this is a thing. It is specific to the brand of processor, or not processor, motherboard.
Yeah.
Granted, I can understand the variance in size depending on how big the holes are for these things or whatever, because sometimes some components don't need some chunky ass thing. But I can only imagine that there's only a specific design of a screw only meant for one brand's thing. Granted, I could be crazy because, again, I don't really do this shit in the computers. I'm very new to PC stuff and adding stuff to my PC. Yeah. But from my experience
of something that blows your mind, though.
Yeah, but the thing is,
so
I wouldn't be surprised though if it was like, well, our screws and adapters are about 3.5 millimeters. Meanwhile, Asus are 2.5 something, and it's only this shape. So you have to buy. And I'm like complaining, why? This is why I miss Radio Shack. Like I miss having almost free access. I mean, not free access, but a reliable place to go. Yeah, the accessibility of universal components. Because that's where that would fall under, because it's like, no, it's just we do this one part that can go to all these different
Absolutely.
things just to
I
make it
agree with you
easier
on
for
that.
for hobbyists for fill in the blank. But the more I'm getting involved with some of this technology, the more I'm thinking of different solutions. Where it's like, man, the only place I can remember to get parts would have been Radio Shack. Granted, someone's gonna say, "Oh yeah, you could just gotta order off online." Yeah, I don't like ordering offline
And it
online.
takes so long.
Yeah, but also because it's like sometimes I won't get what I need, and also half the time I don't even know what I need. So it's like,
That
what
is
if?
true.
I mean, I'll know a thing similar to what I might need. Sorry that my computer went to sleep. But I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. I miss Radio Shack. I miss having those kinds of electronic hobby stores that
Hobby
actually
store,
have those odds and ends that you need to just fix something or do something, right?
Yeah.
God.
I
That
had a
was
similar
my
issue
rant.
upgrading my upgrading my storage as well.
Mhm.
I bought the actual NVMe. I got it. I was like, dang, this is gonna be great. So I pull apart my computer. I pull out my graphics card, and the slot's straight under there.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
go to put it in. I don't have a screw. And the NVMe also doesn't come with a screw. I'm just like sitting there. I'm just like, dang, what do I do? I'm just like, you know who would have this? Best Buy, right?
Oh,
You know what
that exact same thinking happened to
Yeah.
me Friday. They don't have
Yeah.
that shit.
They don't.
They have the kits.
Why don't they?
They have the kits for like everything else to assemble
I
it.
know.
They don't have the attachments.
They don't have the screws. That doesn't make any sense.
Hell, Fry's would even at least have that, but it's like no, that place is gone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, son of a bitch. God damn it.
Yeah. So there's this other thing now that entirely throws this situation out of the window. Most recent motherboards come out now with a twisting little thing that come in the screw slot. So you put your NVMe in, you slide it in, and you hold it down. And where it would be a screw, it's a little tab. It spins and it just holds it down. So you don't even have to ever have this problem once you buy a brand new motherboard. Whatsoever.
Granted, that's if you're. There's more advantage if you're building your own PC, and that's where you
I
get
know,
that
yeah.
from. But the thing is, I'm a normal person essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna deal with jumping into that because that's a whole rabbit hole. I mean, it'll be
really
cool,
is.
but the thing is, I'm like, I don't trust my hands quite yet. Hell, I wasn't trying to stick my hands when I was installing this thing because when I was installing it, it so happened to be
It's
the
terrifying.
also because it so happened to be the most humid part of the day, and I had fans
God.
going off, but I was still sweating. I'm like, I don't want to drop a sweat dropping into this thing.
God, yeah, your hands are shaking. You're trying to put it in. You can't get the screw to like catch on the
and it
threads.
just
It's like, oh my god.
And it just has to be that it's this screw that is just the right size for the thing, but it is so fucking tiny compared to my hand. And I'm like, I'm having trouble. I dropped it.
I dropped it so many times. It fell in between like the shroud of where like the
God, yeah.
the power supply is. I had to fish it out. I was like, oh my god, I'm never doing this again. That NVMe's never coming out.
And that's where it's like I still would rather prefer to do. I mean, the NVMe's in there. It's great. I already got it there. I definitely eventually will put a normal SSD in here. That's with the SATA cable.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing I was looking up because I couldn't find a tutorial for my particular model. But knowing that I didn't know this, there's a fucking storage ass compartment that just on the side that goes that goes straight to the power source and then lines through the to the SATA cable. I'm like, whoa, that's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is very terrifying to mess with it.
Though I was joking with my sister, this is how I feel when I finished installing it. Hacker man.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like professional. I just built a jet right now.
It's like, yeah, there we go. I know computers. No, I don't.
I am the mastermind.
But the one benefit of how all this kind of has gone is that at least someone like me can actually do this shit without anything. I'm just happy. A lot of stuff now I don't even need to like go into BIOS or like some other thing.
God, I don't even bother
for initializations or whatever. It's just like click. Okay, thank God. click. Okay.
You know, I had a heart attack almost doing upgrading my CPU because I went from a 3600 to a 5600, and that requires an update on my motherboard in my BIOS to do it. And I'm sitting here, I was like, how the fuck do I do that? So I had to go out, buy a thumb drive, download the BIOS update, put it on the thumb drive, turn my computer on, or attempt to, and then sit there in the BIOS trying to get that done. And then after that, I have to go over there, disassemble my PC to put the CPU in, and I almost had a heart attack because I could not get my cooler back onto it. Like, it's stuck under, but I could not latch it down. And I ripped out my old CPU trying to take the cooler off. I was being so gentle, but like I kept tugging on it, and it finally came off. Along with it, thermal paste and CPU still intact. Like, oh my god,
Yeah,
there has to be an easier way.
It's so fucking nerve wracking because you're like looking this thing that you can like easily snap, and you're like,
yeah.
I mean,
It costs so much money.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's a lot more durable than you think, but it's not that durable.
You just don't know. That's the thing.
Yeah, because you don't know. It's like, am I gonna give it too much? Ouch! There you go.
Yeah. Just one little screw up is like $300-$400. Like, oh my god.
I think the only other thing I was thinking about attaching to my PC probably was like 2 extra fans.
I want to get an all-in-one, which is like the water-cooled one, because I have 2 little fans. And then an exhaust fan, and they're not that great. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, ideally, yeah, doing a liquid cooled one would be cool, dude. Yeah. I mean, I just remember this one person who like had a built-in, he had built in his PC into his desk, and it was water cooled, and it was see through too, so there was a little glass panel you could see his entire PC, and that was pretty cool. But I could only dream of making builds like that. God.
One day. I hope to do something like that too.
But I don't remember if I mentioned that on the channel that I was gonna try to cover some Tokyo Game Show stuff. If I did, cool, and I do apologize because I did try to dive into the Tokyo Game Show stuff, and I talked about one thing from there, which was the Persona 3 Reloaded update stuff. But looking at what was on the roster, there was actually not too much that I was interested in really talking about. Yes, there's Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, whatever.
Part 2, 3 sounds like an Attack on Titan.
Part 2 rubbing alcohol on Sephiroth's balls. I don't know. Who knows? Funny enough, as much as that's a AAA and it's a well-regarded series, and it's definitely earned that, I'm just not interested in it. And I'm not.
I do not know much on there.
And the thing is, I'm not going like, oh, I'm a hipster. I mean, I would like to try it one day. Not the remake, actually, but the older one. But it's, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's such a large title that in and of itself, it sounds daunting. So I'm like, And also, there are only so many RPGs or JRPGs for me to jump into that I want to actually play. And casually jump into.
I know, there's so many to tackle.
So it's like, nah, is this a priority? Nah, because I never really was a fan of Final Fantasy. Not that I hate it. It's just more like, it was one of the things that you just see and you know its cultural importance. Yeah, you see it, you heard it. Do you want to play it? I don't know. I mostly played Tales of games, and I'm not going, oh, this one's better than that one. No. There's an objective higher quality to, especially the newer Final Fantasy.
Oh,
it's just... but it's just like, which one do I want to pick up and play and just enjoy myself with, right?
It is a time investment, and you have to follow the whole line. That's the thing too, just to get all the information, soak it up. Like, granted, you can go on and off, but it's just it's easier if you just follow the whole line all at once.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry if I did say I was gonna try to cover that. I was gonna try, but as I was going through that stuff, I'm just like, nothing's jumping out at me. Nothing's, There's some funny things with the Xbox showcase in Japan. That was kind of weird, but again, nothing notable. I didn't feel as motivated to look through that as I did with not E3, or was it the game shows, game show. Yeah. So we will sadly not be doing any reactions to much stuff from there. I will try to find some trailers that did get announced. Maybe we will do reactions to those. But in terms of it having to do with TGS, it's middling. Definitely, though, there's no shortage of coverage of it, guys. So you can definitely find stuff on there. Sadly, I won't be extensively covering it. I thought I was gonna be. I wasn't that motivated to. I just ended up looking at some. The only thing one of the few things that I did like was like some new stuff that was shown for like Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I don't know if that's a new story or if that just literally is just a remake and expansion of stuff that already existed with Dragon's Dogma, the first one, with just better graphics.
It might just be better graphics. I don't know about story change at all.
Honestly, I'm playing through Dragon's Dogma right now. The story is not that notable, at least for now. For now, I don't know later. It's a strange beast, but it's a fun beast.
Absolutely, we'll know soon enough.
Other than that, back to the Phil Spencer letters. According to the Kotaku article, Spencer was talking about how AAA game publishers have lost their mojo. I'll quote this in the statement that they quoted. Phil Spencer stated that AAA publishers were slow to react to the disruption of digital storefronts like Steam and the shops built into the Xbox and PlayStation. This is true, but then again, that was true for a lot of retailers in general. Transitioning. This is why I was confused on when this shit was happening, because
this might be way earlier, because this could be years of difference. Because at that time, I'm pretty sure, like when they first like set up in stores and like switching over from like a 360 to like an X or a One, you know, I feel like that's around the time
because
this might be a coming out.
Because Steam definitely gets what's it called, the late 2010s, right? Big boost in how it works, and you know, people using that as actually a storefront platform. And the thing is, in general, that is what killed a lot of brick and mortar businesses for, like, you know, GameStop digital or whatever. Stores. Just the way the digital stores had been set up. Not saying that they're the best, but the thing is, that was a delivery system that's a lot more direct to the customer. Which I still feel like they can do a better job of having a better customer experience in general for almost all of these launchers. Also, I'm tired of having so many goddamn launchers, but that's a different story. Let's see.
Put it all into one, we'll have issues like we do with Steam, because there's many. I'm pretty sure they've had multiple like lawsuits for the fact that they have almost everything just in one place, and it feels like a monopoly to some people. But I understand. I hate having so many launches, because right now, staring at my screen, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 launchers for all the games that I play.
I mean, so just a quick off-topic side tangent. I mean, I like having a physical copy, but I feel like that objectively you can market that one as part of a special edition, but also have, again, more goodies to go with the physical edition. And I kind of miss those days of like, oh man, if I bought the special edition, it definitely was fucking special.
Like a metal tin, like a tin casing, a shirt,
more
like extra stuff,
what's it called? More than just a goddamn tin casing. I always thought that was bullshit to buy a damn game. It is. Just with a tin casing and maybe one behind the scenes DVD. I want the shebang. I really want my money. I want my money's worth when it comes to extra swag on a game compared to the digital version. But overall, like what we've seen with a lot of AAA publishers, I mean, in and outside of the pandemic, is the way they've been trying to build games and how they're trying to monetize them. And we talked about that in the last podcast about how with Baldur's Gate, right? How it's like, hey, see, you can make a AAA level game without needing to have all these kinds of things to monetize. And people will buy it in spades. But the thing is, it is a market of, you know, capitalism. It is a market of quick satisfaction, and as much as they pointed to us millennials, it's honestly really business in general, because it's like, no, I want to see my numbers. I want to see those numbers go up. Why aren't they going up higher now? And that's why a lot of the games, and this was one thing I was talking with some other friends, it's like, they don't make games like they used to. Yeah, they don't, because the thing is, the people making this change. Yeah, not only that, but it's more that the mindset in terms of business of how to approach these games, right, has changed to really going, we will nickel, we will dime, we will try to squeeze as much money out of this cow in any way we can make a hole in the cow.
God.
And is it a carcass? It doesn't matter. We'll cycle the carcass,
throw it back together,
and put it into what looks like a new cow.
God,
with varying successes, right? But it's like, where did that passion of the game is a game? You know, like, this is just, We made this to be fun, to be immersive, to be this thing. Again, it really is just the change of business mentality.
That's true.
As much as we'll go, oh yeah, video games are a business. Yes, they are a business, and so you have to understand that some of these decisions are what they are. It also just means that, again, unless, and even when they have plummeting sales, what I was telling one of my friends is you got to understand these guys aren't looking at these games as games. They're not. I hate to say that it's like, oh, they're not gamers, but yeah, no, they're not gamers. These are
engineers, devs.
What's it called? No. It isn't the developing team either.
Mm-hmm.
It is their bosses. It is the investors, because these are the people who end up influencing the monetization systems in games, because they're looking at it and going, this needs to make money. This needs to make as much money as for us as possible. I mean, just look at the recent Unity debacle.
Oh God,
where literally the CEO of Unity was like, "Well, your install, and we'll charge you each time you install." And that's on the dev side. I don't know on the customer side, but apparently how it worked, and I still need to look into this, was that if you also install or uninstall and then reinstall again, that gets counted on the devs, and they have to keep paying, or you have to. I don't know.
Fucking curse.
I have to double check, but the thing is, that's apparently also one of the things that's getting tracked and going into the who has to pay what. Yeah. It just makes no sense to me. But the thing was, apparently the guy also, this current CEO of Unity, who's totally not in touch with the rest of his company, he sold off stock shares before making that.
Before making the statement.
Yeah, before making that statement on the same day. And apparently, and I still got to listen to more of that from different sources, and sadly I can't list them because I can't. I'm learning about what the whole debacle is about Unity right now.
I've heard tiny little bits and bits about it, but
one of the whispers I heard was one of the companies that he also acquired was a malware company.
Oh.
And so it's like, oh, that's how he's tracking the installs and uninstalls and then, the install rate or whatever. So it's like, I guess that's how he's tracking making money. It's just like, oh my God. And so sadly, that's the world we live in. And the thing is, business people really just live in their own world. Granted, that doesn't mean they can't make good decisions or decisions that benefit us as customers. It's just they are in literally a different mindset, and that's the other thing I was considering when we also were talking about Microsoft thinking about buying Nintendo. If you think business people in the U.S. are strange, Japanese business and Zatsubans are a whole different level of strange. Because some of it is like, some of us are also basing it on our own personal moral ethics or some other thing that's like, or even just common sense. And then you hear, like, why would they make that business decision? I don't get it. Or even try to put ourselves in their shoes of like, but would that really make me money? I don't see how that would work. I don't know either, but they still went with it. And the fact is,
they're in their own world, yeah.
And the thing is,
it's really hard to predict what they're thinking.
And the thing is, at the end of the day, their only interest is trying to make their investments worthwhile. This is why this was why they were so a lot of the business world was so focused on cryptocurrency and NFTs. Though, by the way, officially NFTs are dead and they're utterly worthless, as they should be.
Thank the fucking Lord.
Dude, and crypto itself is a whole scam in its own for me.
It really is.
I mean, there's so many people who just love crypto, but it's like, I'm sorry, no, it is not the next new thing. It won't replace currency. It is still way too volatile in terms of whatever the fuck it bases its value on. That's the main thing. What does it even base its value on? And anytime I've asked somebody that, it is this long explanation that leads to an answer of, I don't know, to me. Because it's like, what is even, like, like, who...
There's no solid ground on it.
And the question for me is like, where are you deriving that value from? And what is the thing that you're harvesting? Which is why we had that big spike in graphics card prices, because people were using graphics cards for data mining.
Farming.
And the question, from data farming. And the question was like, what even is the data that you're farming? Who are you giving it to that is going, this is valuable?
My monies.
Like what exactly is it? And I'm like, jeez. and I'm like going on an old man tangent. Hell, I've been watching too much Harlan Ellison is watching, so if I'm going on a tangent, it's definitely influenced by that. I'll send you the I'll send you the playlist of that. It is interesting. By the way, if some of you are way too fucking young to know who the fuck Harlan Ellison is, go read a fucking book, and I need to read more too. He is an author. He is a foundational author in fiction. I won't say science fiction. He has science fiction stories, but he is mainly fiction. Just fiction, because that's how he personally classifies his work as fiction, because he's an interesting character on his own. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would just recommend that. Back to the leaks. Jeez. Well, Spencer wrote that third-party publishers were unable to replicate the dominance that they established back in the days of retail, video game retail, after losing their advantages of highly exclusive access to customers in brick and mortar stores. They have not found a way to effectively cross-promote. They have not found a way to build publisher brands that drive customer affinity the way Disney has in video. Well, okay, that one word references. What do you mean? Do you mean video on demand, or do you mean video as in VHS? Now from
video on demand.
Yeah, now on the Disney Vault.
Oh God.
The Dorsney Bort. Yeah, honestly though, what we just talked about kind of just puts it there. I mean, but then again, all the same things we were talking about, like, make my money worthwhile if I'm going to buy a special edition, right?
Yeah.
Is also a product of having these games sold at brick and mortar stores, right?
Yeah.
Or in this case,
you lack of now.
Yeah. The thing is, and also the sad part is, I would love a brick and mortar store, but the thing is, I want them independently owned and supported.
Not by these big corporations.
There's by GameStop, which I don't even know if they're going to last any longer. Hell, I don't remember. The thing is, I've only entered a GameStop here and there, just because sometimes some games there are really some games I cannot find from online. Because
it's been years since I've been in one.
Because some digital storefronts still just don't have shit. Mm-hmm. Or like they've removed some games. Like, for example, I want to try to replay from the Xbox 360 the sort of okay reboot of Syndicate.
Oh.
You cannot find that on Steam anymore. It is gone.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go hunting. Go look on like Facebook Marketplace and hope someone sells it.
Now, the reason why I was like, I want to buy like the physical copy. So sometimes I sometimes just find the physical copies. Sometimes I'm not even looking for them, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes, I mean, also because like I don't want to like go and torrent shit. Not because it's like, some personal thing about torrenting. No, some of it is just too much of a waste of time for me to try to torrent shit, because I'm small brain, and sometimes the entire process of setting up like shit from a torrent,
setting up all these programs to play it.
I was like, fucking kill me. Only if I'm like really motivated to want to do it. The other thing that was in the email, though this one's not surprising because everybody was like this when it came out, was Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Well, because again, people were it's the thing we just established earlier about the whole, the way we got to monetize this. Because if people don't remember, Baldur's Gate 3 had been also in a closed beta and an open beta for a while. No, I think it was a closed beta. It was, for a long time. But that was also their time when they were adjusting a lot of stuff, that they were getting news that, oh my god, this game's a shit show. Because the thing is, I do remember that when it came.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, that was early on. But now, the full release, boom, look at that.
Literally almost game of the year, if not game of the year. It is an incredible game. I wish I owned it. It looks really fun, but it's not my type of game. But based on the reception it's receiving, it is game of the year.
I'm willing to try it. But of course I'm going to wait for a sale.
Yeah, me too.
There's some other stuff, and again, the article is in the description, guys. You're definitely gonna, and probably you've already heard other news from the leaks and whatever. So, and by the time this podcast comes out, there's probably even more news coming out, not only from the leaks, but stuff related to the leaks. The last thing I wanted to touch on was apparently Like a Dragon.
Oh.
I remember it was released for the Xbox as well. And I thought, wait a minute, isn't the Yakuza series a Sony exclusive half the time? Or most of the time?
I'm pretty sure it is.
And then suddenly it's like, I see it available for the Xbox. So what's going on there?
Well,
Apparently...
did Sony lose rights?
No, kinda, not really. According to the Kotaku article, the headline is Microsoft accidentally got an exclusive Sega game.
Oh.
Yakuza Like a Dragon was available for the Xbox Series X and S, and not the PlayStation 5.
What the heck?
The Yakuza series had long been, with this...
A Sony.
With it, yeah.
Exclusive.
But the leak revealed that Microsoft was just as surprised, and it turns out the reason for Like a Dragon landing on Xbox first was due to two competing regional exclusivity agreements with Sega, made essentially short-circuited each other. The result, Xbox players got to have Yakuza. Western PlayStation owners did not. I assume if you were in Japan, you got it on PlayStation. Which I didn't know. But now
I didn't know either.
But that's why now we actually get the next one coming up.
Information, yeah.
But now that's why we're also getting the next Yakuza, the next Like a Dragon game, Infinite Wealth. On the Xbox. Which, by the way, that one had another trailer drop on that one, and maybe that's one that we react to.
I think we should.
Not right now, sadly, but we'll probably react to that one. That's it for a really unstructured way to look at news. I know there's another article. Well, it's a related article, but we didn't touch on it. And again, it'll be linked, and I just got to remember to link them. But yeah, not much today. Other than that, hopefully I get this done and uploaded by next week, because I know September is ending, and that is where the wonderful Barry's Bonanza is coming. I'm making that announcement right now. If I didn't already mention it already, it is what's it called? You guys will get 2 videos per week, Tuesday and Saturday, of just horror games that I play. I'll spoil this much about the first set of recordings because I'm halfway done. It's gonna be all through the month. Two videos each week throughout the entire month of October. Most of it will be unsorted horror, and you'll find out what that is. I'm not going to say any more than that. And they're mostly horror indie games that I will definitely be going through, guys. But all throughout October, twice a week, video uploads of just horror games. Hopefully, I do plan to do this as an annual thing, of course, because it's Halloween, and hopefully get it to a place I would like it to be. But for now, this is my first time doing that, and I hope when you guys do watch it, you do enjoy it. I'm still slowly making the uploads, and I still have 4 more to record.
Cool.
But they will be up there, and I will try to make sure the one for Halloween night itself is special, or at least make it long enough. Probably like a 2-hour special, maybe.
3 hours of screaming.
Which also means it's like 2 hours worth of video that I have to sit and babysit uploading. But we'll see. You may or may not see Timo in one of these. I don't know. It depends on our schedules.
We'll work it out.
And I know this man thoroughly enjoys horror games. Now, don't you?
No, not at all.
I mean, ideally, I would love to make this like a stream thing, but right now, obviously, I can't. So, next year, even though I'm going to be doing some personal stuff in real life, I will try to do some test streams again to see how my Wi-Fi and everything sets up. Games that you will not see me play because I want to keep those as games I personally enjoy, but also I don't know if my PC, even though my PC is newer, I don't know how well it'll handle me trying to record and play them at the same time. That would probably include, sadly, Cyberpunk. I will not be recording Cyberpunk. That is for my own personal enjoyment.
Yeah, it is a game to just take in and absorb because there's always a lot going on, and it's really nice to be immersed in that.
The other one that I do have,
ambiance.
and I did mention earlier, if it made it into the recording, I don't remember, is Deathloop. I will not be recording that.
Oh,
Also because that one is one of those games I'm taking my time with just to enjoy it. What I might do a playthrough of eventually, because I just want to enjoy it first, is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Now, I'm still debating whether or not to do a playthrough of the first one because I don't have that one on PC. I have that on my console.
oh,
Speaking of which, I know that there's a bunch of stuff I still need to go back to for console recordings, such as Resident Evil. Resident Evil HD?
oh.
And I definitely want to go back and try to re-record
Nico
my
Para.
playthrough of State of Decay, because I kind of made some jumps into that, but recorded only a few things. Other than that, we have Killer Frequency that I need to go back to and keep doing recordings of, Dave the Diver, Twilight Town, and of course, Anno Mutationum and 2064 Read Only Memories.
Ooh.
As for, and I'm looking down the list of other things I'm doing. As for the other content on my channel, such as Opus, that will eventually come back. That one's a little bit more infrequent, but I will come back to that one. Blasphemous is another one that I don't know if I'm gonna come back to or not.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I don't like the game, but more just like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Ape Out, I need to go back to, but that one hit a weird spot because something happened with my save.
Oh, did
So
it corrupt?
I might something happened when I was transferring from computers. So
Oh, I see.
don't
I
know.
see.
So we'll see. Hard
It's
Space
somewhere.
Shipbreaker. I will redo that series because the game finally came out on release. Finally released like a year ago or so, the full version, and so there's an actual storyline and things like that. I'll probably redo that if I want to record that. If not, then I will eventually turn that more into a stream content again.
Mm-hmm.
But that if it being that, it's gonna be pushed out further. But yeah, that is the rough idea for the channel right now and what's going on with it. Again, I do apologize for not keeping updated with everybody, but I'm trying to do my best. Also, IRL stuff has been happening that makes it kind of hard to deal with certain things altogether.
Life is tough out here.
What I will say is, and it's not bad, is that I've mostly been busy with helping my sister with her wedding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big thing that's happening now because that is in December, and the other thing is I will not be here December till the beginning of January. So
Oh gosh.
the other thing is that I will try to record as much as possible to schedule things, schedule uploads throughout those months. So more likely you will have another black hole of content around you'll probably have another black hole of content in November because we'll see, record as much as possible what I feel like recording and uploading in November. That's probably going to start in October though, because that's the whole reason I did Barry's Bonanza, was also that way I could do a bunch of pre-recorded content beforehand and then schedule all of them the next month. And I'll try to do the same within October and November. As for the podcast, because I will technically be missing for a month, we will do two. We will do two more podcasts before the end of the year, and that will be mostly in November. October we'll see if that has a podcast. I'll try to. So then we might have three, but we'll see. I kind of want to, so that way we fit the Halloween season. I'll be gone for one of the days. I forgot which one because I will be actually at a Halloween party.
Ooh, what are you dressing up as?
I'm not telling you. You ain't gonna see me.
Oh,
Sexy nurse Timo. No kidding.
I wish to see.
But it's a potluck, and I also gotta make some food. I was like thinking, what am I gonna bring? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I went like, fuck it. I found a recipe for spinach. What is it?
Some dip.
Not spinach and dip. It was spinach puffs from Emperor's New Groove.
Ooh,
Kronk spinach puffs. Oh my god, I am dying. I can feel my brain like cramping out of like ideas.
Rot.
Yeah, it's just going. So yeah. So any plans with you, Timo, that anybody should be looking out for? Even though I know you're doing your own stuff and life's busy, but just like anything that anybody should be looking out for.
Any plans? No, I want to start streaming. I wanted to hopefully do it by the end of this month, but God, I do not know how to make a time schedule and stay committed, but I will definitely try.
That's what gorilla streams are for.
That is a fair point. I'll work on it. I'll get back to it, but we'll see when that happens. That's about it. That's all I got on my plate.
All right. Well, that has been episode 4 of, and I should have said the episode number earlier. Oh well, it's episode 4, guys. You'll see it.
Yeah.
It's been episode 4 of Lost in Transmission. I thank you all for listening, and until then, my fellow space jockeys, we will see you the next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.